Episode 71. Logan's Demand. Logan mocked Violet lightly for having so many friends at her disposal, but Violet did not hear it. Instead, she smiled embarrassedly. This was usually her response when she didn't know what to do. "Sir, if you don't mind, you can be my friend. After all, you have helped me so many times. And I have never repaid you. I remember everything you have done for me. Whatever you want, I will do my best to fulfill it," Violet said with a very sweet expression on her face. Looking at Violet's sincere expression, Logan could not bear to make the next request. No matter his dreams and desires involving Violet, he could never be anything but cold and ruthless in front of her. Everyone was selfish, and Logan had to be careful. He had too many enemies out there. "I asked you to come here to talk about this problem. Sit down first." He pointed at the sofa on the opposite side. Violet sat down hesitantly. She was a little nervous. "Sir, are you going to fire me? I can swear that I will never meet Lionel again. Today was just a bad day. I didn't put too much thought into what I was doing. It was all my fault for not thinking it through properly. I'll make sure that it does not happen next time. Trust me on this," Violet pleaded. She had a very solemn expression as she said this. "Of course, you can't see him again. But remember, even if you don't provoke the Kingston family, I'm afraid they won't just let you go either." Logan was trying to give his 2 cents to Violet to make her understand what was good for her. Actually, Logan really didn't need to remind her of this. Violet was a little depressed because these things had been troubling her for a very long time. As long as she thought about everything she had to do to take back her shares and take revenge for her grandfather, she would not be able to sleep peacefully. "Don't be upset. I'm telling the truth. However, I do have a way to help you and Noah." Logan knew what Violet was thinking, and he also knew how he could help her. "Really?" Violet seemed to see a flicker of hope in a desperate situation. Her eyes were bright as she stared at Logan. "I knew you would help. It is great that Noah is your friend too." When Logan said this, Violet looked like a little girl who was beaming with joy. Only she knew how much this mattered to her. Although Violet was the mother of 2 children, she was still very attractive. No matter what she did, she always seemed to look very lovable. But now, she was worried about the future of her friends. She was also unable to guarantee the safety of her children. Even though Logan had a heart of steel, he still felt some sympathy for her. "This matter has nothing to do with Noah. This is a matter between us," Logan declared. "Between us?" Violet had so many questions in her mind at this point. Could it be that there is something I can help you with? As long as Noah doesn't help you, the Kingston family will not have any problems with him. "But he is my lawyer. I definitely won't give up on taking back the Kingston family shares." Violet blinked her eyes in confusion. "This is official business. As long as you do not have too much contact with him in private, the Kingston family will not be able to find an excuse or an opportunity to target him. The same goes for Haley. Logan has been in business for quite some time now and had handled many difficult cases, so he knew exactly how these things worked. Trust me, I can help you a lot. Logan lazily leaned on the sofa as if his prey was already in the net. He was calmly appreciating Violet's uneasiness and anxiety. His eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. Violet could see how much Logan wanted to be in control of this situation, so she felt even more anxious. For some reason, Logan's behavior reminded her a lot of Amy. She liked to appreciate beauty when she saw it. When she saw good-looking people, she always liked to look at them a few more times and had a good impression of them. If Logan didn't have temper issues, perhaps his position in her heart would have been higher, and her impression of him would have been even better. Then tell me how I should help you. I will listen to you as long as you can guarantee Noah and Haley's safety. The two of them are very important to me. Violet responded. Her face was very hot. It was all Logan's fault. Why was he so good-looking? His actions were full of temptation. She seemed to have suddenly discovered Logan's charm today. She really could not stand it. Are you sure that you will listen to every single thing I say? Logan asked. Since she was so confident, Logan felt he had to check. What? Violet was so shocked that she sat up from the sofa. She knocked a few times on the side of the sofa. She used both hands to support her thighs, and her entire body fell onto the ground. I'm sorry. She was scared and embarrassed. She was so shy that her face turned red. Her eyes were sparkling, but not because she was happy, but because there were tears in them. She looked like a little girl. You don't have to do that. Logan realized that he had a desire, so he grabbed Violet's hand. No, sir. Didn't you say earlier that it was because I was married and had children? Isn't that why you chose me as your secretary? Violet asked. But why did he make such a request now? Why did he make her sell herself to seek his protection? What was Logan doing? This was so unusual of him. He was behaving very differently. This was too absurd. Violet could not imagine that Logan would actually say something like that. Something like this could only happen in dramas. Violet's face had turned red, and she could not come to terms with what she had heard. It seemed very unbelievable to her. Adam and Amy's father did not marry you, and I know that very well. They are illegitimate children. I don't need to investigate this matter. I already know everything about it, so don't worry on that front. Logan continued. But even so, this is too absurd. I sold out my skills, not my body. Violet held back her embarrassment and anger. She tried her best to persuade Logan to change his mind. Then you can sell your body now. I will give you a satisfactory price. Logan's tone was loud and strong. Violet knew that she couldn't refuse when he said things with that tone. How could he let Noah and Garrett arrange a place for Violet to stay? Of course, only he could arrange a place for his secretary. For the longest time, Logan had been one to get everything that he wanted. He only had to make a request for it, and he would get it. That was the kind of power that he had. Since he had a desire for Violet, he simply could not control his desire to get her. He kept thinking about her all the time. It was as if she had consumed his mind. It was not like they were going to get married. It wasn't going to harm anyone either. He also knew that if there was anyone in Los Angeles who could help Violet, it was him. I refuse. Violet exclaimed. She had already suffered because of a man. She did appreciate Logan's good looks, but if she really had sex with Logan, wouldn't that be letting down Noah and Haley's protection over the years? She would be selling herself to Logan. If they found out, how sad would they be? They were her true friends, and she never wanted to let them down. She was absolutely unwilling. Would she be considered Logan's mistress or his sex partner if she did that? You can't just refuse like that. If you refuse, Noah's law firm, Haley's work, and the entire social circle will be destroyed. Is that what you want to see? I know that this is not something you want. Logan countered. You are despicable. Violet shouted. She no longer cared that Logan was her boss. She could not control her emotions at all. He actually asked her to become his woman and bring Adam and Amy to live in his villa. This was too ridiculous. She was stunned and confused as to where this was heading. If she did not agree, he would have to deal with Noah and Haley. Violet was really angry. She really wanted to scratch Logan's insufferably arrogant face. But she also knew that he was the only one that could help her. She sat there with a serious expression, not being able to fully comprehend what had happened. Episode 72. Digesting What Happened. Violet was really angry with Logan's proposition. She really wanted to scratch Logan's insufferably arrogant face. But she also knew that he was the only one that could help her. Sir, wake up. What are you thinking? I already have children. I am not like other rich people. I don't have time or energy to play emotional games. I am even less interested in sharing a man with Elizabeth. Violet was desperately trying to knock some sense into Logan. Logan narrowed his eyes. He smiled brightly. I have never had any relations with Elizabeth, just so you know. Shameless. Violet was speechless. Was this really the director of the Smith Group? Did he really say that? No. Was this the answer she wanted? Definitely not. She did not care whether Elizabeth and Logan had an intimate relationship or not. She did not want to get involved between the two of them. This was the last thing that she had on her mind. Aren't you guys getting married? She asked inquisitively. Who said so? Logan countered. Miranda. Do you believe their words, or do you believe mine? Logan asked. He looked at her with a piercing gaze. Besides, didn't you just turn me down? Why do you care so much about what they said? Logan seemed concerned and angry at the same time. I'm just curious. Violet replied. Then why are you curious? Why would I like you? Logan was very annoyed by this time. Was this guy really from the Alexander family? What about that cold and arrogant attitude from before? Now he was like a vile, second-generation rich boy. He just wanted Violet to go crazy at any time. He didn't seem like the poised and serious Logan that Violet once knew. I'm a grown woman with 2 children. I can tell that your taste isn't that good. Violet sarcastically replied. I already chose you to be my secretary. My taste is already bad enough. Logan smiled. Violet took a few deep breaths. I will pretend that you did not say those words. If you insist on doing so, I can only resign. Violet remarked. If you resign, then you won't have anyone to rely on anymore. Don't tell me Noah's company can protect you. He has helped you fight for the Kingston family shares. He has already received a lot of public backlash. I suggest that you don't give him any more trouble. It was evident that Logan was trying to negotiate some terms so that he could get what he wanted. He wanted it so badly that he could go to any extent for it, and that was evident in his demeanor. You're threatening me. Violet was so angry that her face turned red. My decision is final, and it will not change, Logan declared. Decide? What decision was he talking about? Your decision to move in with me, with your children, he replied. Those are my children. What does that have to do with you? Violet asked. She was very angry at this point. You promised to maintain a relationship with me, so naturally they have something to do with me. At least I will send someone to protect them. You don't think that the people of the Kingston family will let these two children go, do you? You can't be that naive, Violet. Logan said coolly. He seemed very confident this time. The children have nothing to do with you. Director, your suggestion it's too ridiculous. Whatever you're saying is beyond my understanding. I am not in the mood to even stay here today. I'll be taking leave for the day. Violet was done by this time. If you go back so late, you'll disturb others. That is not your home. You don't even have your own place. This is really inconvenient. You'll be staying here today. I won't offend you by saying anything you don't like. Logan continued. I want to go back. Violet repeated. She didn't feel comfortable staying with Logan anymore. Could it be that Logan deliberately made things difficult for her to help the Kingston family and wanted her to resign? It seemed like this was the only answer that could explain Logan's abnormal behavior that day. He seemed like the Logan she never knew. Violet's mind was running a mile a minute, trying to figure out what was going on. Maybe Logan deliberately made things difficult for her because he was angry about her meeting Lionel. Or he wanted to help the people of the Kingston family. But no matter the reason, she couldn't fight him. If she asked Noah and Haley for help, she would only drag them into trouble, and that was the last thing she wanted. Violet no longer wanted to work with Logan. Since he wasn't letting her leave, she decided to just stay. After she washed up, she went to bed. Before she went to bed, she didn't do what she usually did before bedtime. She didn't even give Logan his milk. It seemed like she was too upset for any of that. Although she and Logan were separated by a wall, she felt as if he was breathing into her ear. Those words he said and those unreasonable requests made Violet unable to fall asleep. Eventually, she dozed off. In her dreams, she felt as though she was trapped in the past again. She heard Miranda and Charles's secret conversation in their room. At that time, when Violet found out that Miranda had killed her grandfather, she was completely dumbfounded. Then she thought of her parents' premature death. In this world, besides her, other than her best friends Noah and Haley, no one else actually cared about what happened back then. The two of them were always there for her, and they kept her secrets too. Miranda and Charles were free to do whatever they wanted. They were the ones who did the most harm, yet they were free birds. In her mind, the image of her grandfather and parents was still so clear. A handsome, bright, scholarly, and loving father. A mother who was not too good with words but was still noble and beautiful, and a grandfather who loved her the most. Violet looked at them as they walked further and further away. She chased them from behind and shouted. Her voice was choked with sobs. She fell to the ground and could not get up. She could only scream at the top of her voice, "Don't leave me!" Her thoughts were taking over her mind. She did not know if it was her crying that made her father slow down. He finally stopped and looked back at her. Violet felt a warm and dry finger brush past her ear. That pair of hands rubbed her hair as if to wipe away the fine beads of sweat on her forehead. "Don't worry about the children. Everything will be fine," he whispered. "Really, Dad? But I'm so weak and useless. I don't think I can do anything to get out of this situation," she cried. It had been 4 years. When she returned to Los Angeles, she had done nothing else besides hiding under the protection of Noah and Haley. It felt like nothing had changed. She felt like a failure. "You can do it. You're smart and kind. You can do whatever you want." His voice was gentle and familiar. However, his face gradually blurred. Violet knew that her father was leaving, but she still reached out to grab him unwillingly. "Why did you leave me?" If her parents and grandfather were both here, then no one could come near her or even think of harming her. Violet's position wouldn't be so weak in the Kingston group as it was now. Miranda was calling the shots, and Violet had nothing. However, Violet also knew that even if she could use all of her wealth, she would not be able to return to the time when her grandfather and parents were still alive. This was the one thing that she wanted the most. She did not sleep for the whole night. When Violet woke up in the morning, she felt that her whole body was sticky, probably because of what happened yesterday and Logan's suggestion. She had been dreaming the whole night. When she saw that the sky was already bright, she quickly got up. Logan was not around, so she quickly took a shower. She wanted to wash her own bedsheets again. She kept feeling that the blanket was drenched in sweat and was smelling bad. Logan liked to be clean. If he came in, he would start bickering with her again, so she quickly started doing what she thought was best. Even if he mentioned that the two of them were contracted lovers, Violet did not think that this man would treat her any differently. When the caretaker came in and saw that she was busy, he quickly came up to stop her. "Miss Violet, let me do these things. You are only responsible for taking care of the patient." Episode 73. The day after the offer. Logan asked Violet to move in with him and bring her children with her. Shocked and angry, Violet had turned him down, but wasn't sure if she did the right thing. Later, the caretaker sees her trying to clean the blankets and stops her. "I'm in good health. Why can't I clean the blankets?" Violet asked. She was confused when the caretaker stopped her. She touched her forehead. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with her. Whatever turmoil she felt, it was emotional. There wasn't anything physically wrong. However, the caretaker shook his head. "Director Logan won't see it that way. Don't make things difficult for me, ma'am. If he sees that you are working like this, he will be angry. You can't make him angry. He is getting discharged from the hospital anyway. You have to look after him," the caretaker told her. Violet's face was tense. In the end, she listened to the caretaker. It turned out that Logan's nursing staff was transferred from his own company. That is why they knew everything about his likes and dislikes. Initially, Violet decided to treat him as a boss who had gone through all kinds of difficulties in the business field. However, the more she thought about it, the more her perspective changed. Violet suddenly felt like she should be proud of herself. Logan's grandmother actually allowed her to take care of Logan. Wasn't this a testament to her abilities? Logan was the most desired man in the city. The fact that she was allowed to take care of him was something really big for her. Earlier, the caretaker had insisted that Violet sit and rest and would not let her help with anything. However, Violet was somewhat restless and asked where Logan went. He probably went to exercise. The caretaker replied. He was fully aware of what Logan's routine was like. Exercise? Logan's body had not recovered yet. Why did he start to torment himself? Violet frowned. Why was Logan so capricious? His wound had just opened a few days ago, so why wasn't he being more careful? He was clearly too stubborn, without realizing how that could harm him. I have to go find Logan. Does the doctor know that he has been exercising? Violet said out loud. The doctor said there is no problem. Logan will be discharged from the hospital today. His physical condition should be fine. The caretaker replied. He did not dare to ask Logan about these things, so he urged Violet to be extra careful too. I think I should just go and fetch the doctor, just to reconfirm things with him. Logan's grandmother asked me to take care of Logan. I have to take responsibility and do justice to it, Violet explained. It was as if she was rationalizing in her own mind what she should be doing. Violet, you were right. I think you should do that too. The caretaker smiled as he worked and nodded at her, indicating that he did not need her help. Violet quickly left the room to go look for Logan. As she wandered around, trying to find her way, it turned out that there was a health club on this floor of the hospital. Violet was shocked to see that this hospital had all kinds of facilities. The members of the Alexander family would not feel dissatisfied at all. No wonder they had chosen this hospital for his treatment. Violet looked around for a while and found out that this floor even had an independent restaurant. There was also a screening room, and even the chefs seemed to be international level chefs. If Logan hadn't been as picky about what he wanted to eat, then his grandmother would surely not be sending his food from home. There were so many different eating options at the hospital. Violet finally reached the health club. As she opened the door slightly, she saw Logan sweating on the treadmill as he ran. His biceps could be seen in his sleeveless top. Violet was stunned for a moment and looked at Logan a few more times. Before she could have a good look, Logan noticed that she had come. He did not say anything and slowed down until the machine stopped. Violet woke up and quickly handed him a towel. "You're awake?" he asked. Violet seemed to have had disturbing dreams the whole night and kept muttering. Logan wanted to let her sleep a little longer. He did not expect Violet to wake up so soon. Yes, sir. You're exercising pretty early today. Has the doctor even allowed you to exercise? Violet questioned. Her concern was evident in her tone. I am just jogging. Relax. I don't have any serious injury. What are you afraid of? Logan rolled his eyes at Violet. I know, but what if you get hurt? Have you forgotten the last time? Violet insisted. Logan had lost so much blood that it made her shiver when she thought about it. Are you seriously here to tell me that? What is wrong with you? Why are you behaving like an old lady? Logan could not help but laugh. He felt like Violet was taking care of him as his grandmother would. Your grandmother asked me to look after you. I naturally have to take responsibility. Violet had been a little embarrassed when she first saw Logan. Now that the two of them had started to argue, Violet had long forgotten the awkwardness from last night. Don't try to change the topic. My grandma asked you to take care of me, not to supervise me. You have to understand the difference. Logan had a very serious expression on his face as he said this. Violet still wanted to say something, but Logan had already wiped the sweat off his face. He threw the towel to her and said, "I'm going back." The weather was great that day. The sun was shining brightly. Although the weather was getting colder, the leaves were not completely yellow. Instead, they were illuminated by the fine sunlight, rippling with golden light. Violet did not remember how many years it had been since she had such a relaxed and joyful moment when she was overseas. She was busy with work every day, taking care of the children, and did not even have time to stop and look around. Amidst her mommy duties, she had forgotten to pause and appreciate the beauty of nature. Although Logan's suggestion yesterday made Violet restless, Logan's attitude today was quite gentle. Violet boldly speculated that even if she did not agree to be the so-called contractual lover, she might not be fired. After all, Corey also praised Violet's work ethic. Violet really wanted to stay in the Smith Company and continue working. The salary she received was sufficient to help her live a comfortable life. She was able to take care of her children very well too. Although Logan was hard to work with, he rarely asked her to attend any events with him. Even if Violet attended, no one would force her to drink. After all, everyone knew Logan's status in society. No one dared to make things difficult for the people around him. Violet felt that although she firmly rejected Logan's offer the day before, and even agreed to resign to protect her dignity, she would still be working because everyone in the company seemed to be happy with her. Besides, if she wanted to find out more about the Kingston family and how Logan was helping them, then she would have to work here. Violet told herself that she definitely did not hesitate because of other reasons. "What are you spacing out for?" Logan asked. He looked out the windows of the hospital and saw nothing. He turned around and shouted at Violet to wake her up. Violet quickly ran up and followed him. Violet and Logan returned to the room. The caretaker had already tidied up, and the housekeeper of the Alexander family had sent breakfast over. Logan asked Violet to serve breakfast, and the two ate it together. Violet felt that it was too much and gave some to the caregiver too. "You sure know how to behave," Logan added as he looked at her sharing her food. Violet simply smiled in response. Logan enjoyed Violet's care. He ate a few pieces of cake and had a bowl of porridge. He did not mention what happened last night, as if it was a dream for Violet. However, Violet could not figure out what Logan was thinking. She did not dare to ask Logan. After making such an offer last night, he was acting as normal as ever this morning. Violet had been observing Logan's expression the whole morning. Corey had video called Logan to talk about the company's matters, and Violet had heard it too. They were talking about the company's matters. Everything felt normal. Violet almost felt scared, assuming it would all be okay. Episode 74. What the Doctor Says. The nursing staff came in to clean the room. As Violet spoke to one of the nurses, she realized that Logan had gone to exercise early in the morning. Worried and upset, she chased after him to see if he was doing all right. Then Violet and Logan made small talk. The entertainment companies under the Smith Group were recruiting singers. Some of the factions did not agree with the audition method. They all thought that their method was the best. In the end, Logan still had to make the decision since he was the most powerful person present. What a bunch of trash! Logan frowned. Although he was younger than Corey, he had been an executive for a long time, so his aura was different. One had to just be around him and know he had tons of experience, and lots of power too. As long as his voice was a little lower, Violet would be a little afraid. This showed how powerful the man was. In the end, Logan still gave them suggestions and let them conduct an audition. As long as the singers behaved in a civil manner and liked music, they could participate. Even if they did not undergo professional training, they could sign a contract with the company and receive professional training. Violet also felt that this method was quite good. After all, not everyone had the money and energy to realize their musical dreams. If someone was chosen by the Smith Group, he would be able to make use of the huge capital that came with the association to realize his dream. It would also be perfect for both sides to work together. Violet thought that this was a great initiative and should surely be taken ahead, too. Apart from his violent temper, Logan was really good. He really did think about others, too. I'll be discharged in the afternoon. If there's nothing else important to do, you can go back home. Logan curled the corner of his mouth and looked at Violet with a deep look. I think you need time to think about it. Violet thought that this matter was already over, but it most definitely wasn't. Think about it, she asked, her mouth falling open. He must be talking about last night's proposal. She did not expect Logan to suddenly bring it up again. Close your mouth. You look silly like this, Logan remarked. However, Violet just stared. Sir, don't joke with me, since you know I'm stupid. She knew that he was just teasing her. If she was silly, he wouldn't have trusted her with any business affairs the way that he did. Logan had clearly given her a lot of assurance during the time she worked. I'll let you go back for the time being. Just remember what I said. I'll wait for your answer. Go back and spend some time with the children today. I'll wait for you at work tomorrow, Logan instructed. Don't you need me to go through the discharge procedures? And I still need to ask the doctor whether it will affect your body if you start to exercise so early in the morning, Violet responded. After all, she had to take care of him. As a mere secretary, you're really concerned about your boss. Logan snorted. The doctor peeked through the door and heard what they were talking about. Can I come in, sir? Violet looked at the young doctor with a teasing look, making the doctor laugh. Your secretary is quite cute, the doctor said. Oh, really? She's very old. How can she be cute? Logan didn't agree with what the doctor said. Violet was so upset at Logan's comment. Why can't older people be cute, too? Besides, he should at least behave himself around the doctor. But Logan was too unpredictable. One could never tell why Logan did what he did. It was all very strange most of the time. Fortunately, the doctor did not mind and continued to speak to Violet. Although she was unhappy, she smiled at the doctor and stood up to let him sit on the sofa. Doctor, are you here to tell us about the discharge procedure? Violet was really inquisitive. She really wanted Logan to go home now. Yes, I have some suggestions for his recovery. I want you to write it down so that there won't be any scars on his body later. Now, these are very important, so you must pay very close attention to these." The doctor spoke with a very solemn look on his face. He seemed to care a lot about the post-recovery process. "Oh, yeah, tell me. I'll write it down." Violet felt like she was the one who was responsible for writing all of this down. "I don't mind a few scars on my body. There is no need to be so concerned about this," Logan told the doctor. He did not think it was a big deal. He had been handsome and unrestrained since he was young. He was admired by countless people. He didn't think that a small scar would affect him. Even if it did affect him, it was still a good thing. If too many people liked him, it would be troublesome. "That won't do. Your grandmother will say that I didn't take your injury seriously. Then she will deduct the funds for my laboratory." The doctor responded, "Sir, just listen to the doctor. Otherwise, I will be really worried about you. I have to do justice to my job." Violet pleaded. She quickly helped the doctor persuade him. Logan finally agreed to listen to the doctor's instructions. The doctor briefed for a while and saw that Violet remembered all the precautions he had mentioned in great detail. He also saw Logan's satisfied expression. Logan's gaze would occasionally wander between Violet's neck and curled eyelashes. The doctor kept talking about the post-care stuff, and Violet kept scribbling in a notebook like a dedicated student writing down lecture notes. The doctor finally left. Violet closed the notebook and decided to bring it back with her to take a closer look. She then asked Logan if he wanted her to ask about the discharge procedure. "No need. The hospital is my family's property. You can leave and wait for me at work." Logan's words made Violet speechless again. Indeed, rich people were unreasonable. They could even set up a hospital. If they had money, they could really do whatever they wanted. "I didn't promise you anything like that." Violet spoke then. She decided she could not let Logan do whatever he wanted. Logan looked at her in confusion. Other than the day she applied for the secretary position, he hadn't seen her behaving in a smart and shrewd way. "What?" He frowned and concluded that Violet was thinking nonsense again. "You just said that I should wait for you at work." She had a very innocent expression on her face as she said this. He just thought that she would agree to all of his requests and also sign that lover's contract, but she didn't agree. Logan had come to terms with this. "You don't want to work?" Logan asked curiously. At the same time, he also looked very angry and confused. "Oh, you meant actual work." So that was what he meant. Violet was so angry that she had thought too much. Why was she so stupid in front of Logan? She stuck out her tongue. Logan simply looked at her, waiting for an answer. "Nothing. I was wrong, Director Logan. I'll go now. I'll see you tomorrow." If she stayed here, she would only continue to make a fool out of herself. She thought that it was best that she left and then returned to work the next day with a fresh mind. Logan was too smart for her sometimes. In any case, Logan had nothing else to do here. If she faced him again, she felt like her whole body was going to melt. Logan never left any instance to tease her. The temperature of her body had increased and her heart was beating faster, so she quickly took her things and ran out of the room. Why was this happening to her? What was this effect that took over her entire body? Violet entered the elevator and saw that her face was red in the mirror. She wailed and covered her face. She totally did not know that Logan, who was in the room, was laughing quickly. Logan felt a certain sense of satisfaction, seeing how Violet had run away. Episode 75. The Day with the Children. The doctor briefed Logan about the post-recovery process. Violet vigilantly made notes so she could take care of him. Logan then reminded Violet that she had to get back to him with an answer to the offer he had given. Violet went back home to clean up. She had to go pick up the children later. Since she did not have any free time later, she also used this time to clean Haley's house. Although there wasn't a lot of space in the house, it was very well decorated. Violet liked it very much, but she knew she could not stay here forever. She still had to find a house to move into so she would not disturb Noah and Haley. She knew that it was best for all of them that she moved out with her children. Violet cleaned up the whole house and put away the laundry. She also tidied up Haley's room. She looked at the time and saw it was time to pick up Adam and Amy from school. She called Noah again. This time, she decided that she would go pick them up from school by herself. "It's too inconvenient for you to take a cab to pick them up. I'll go and pick them up." Noah looked at his watch. The roads were quite busy at this time of day. He was afraid that Violet was not familiar with the city since she had been living overseas for quite some time. Not only would Violet not be able to pick up the children, but there were chances that she wouldn't be able to find her way either. It would be better for Noah to pick them up. "You don't have to worry. Just do your thing." Violet ran a hand through the hair on her forehead. She realized that her hair had grown and she would have to cut it. Noah was still worried. "Don't worry about me. I can manage," Violet insisted. She often acted like a spoiled child towards Noah. This was a side that she had never shown in front of outsiders. If Logan saw her like this, he would not be happy. Of course, Violet did not care about that. Perhaps Amy had inherited her warmth and cuteness from Violet. As for Adam's quiet personality, Violet did not know who Adam inherited it from. When Violet arrived at school, she did not let the driver wait for long. She wanted to bring the children home at the earliest so that she could spend some time with them. It was rare for her to be free, so she brought Adam and Amy to the shopping mall across the street to have some fun. After they finished eating at the shopping mall, they packed the food and brought it back to Haley. Haley was very busy, and she did not have time to come out and eat. "Aunt Haley likes to eat beef and rice. Mommy, let's buy that for her." Amy jumped about excitedly. They knew Aunt Haley and her preferences too well, since they had spent a lot of time with her. "Okay." Violet readily agreed. "Oh, and the salad," Adam added. Adam was really a meticulous child. Although he usually did not like to talk like Amy, he still remembered everything. Violet lovingly rubbed his head. She thought of what Logan had said. As long as Violet agreed to live with him in the villa, Logan would find someone to take care of her children. Now that Violet thought about it, Logan's conditions were really tempting. After all, she really owed the children a lot over the years. No wonder Logan had that expression of victory. He probably thought that Violet would agree. But Violet shook her head. No matter how tempting Logan's terms were, she would not betray herself. A person should make such decisions after carefully going over them. If Violet rushed into this, then she would really be an idiot. "Mommy, I want to eat banana bread." Amy pulled Violet's hand and walked towards the bread shop. She was a big fan of dessert. Every time she passed a dessert shop, she had to buy something. What does Adam want to eat? She remembered that Adam liked chocolate cake. "Mommy, I want to eat cheesecake. The one Uncle Logan bought last time." Violet heard Logan's name and frowned. Mommy, can I not eat? Adam saw that she did not look too happy and asked carefully, was Mommy angry, or was it that Mommy was too tired from work? He was confused. Had he done something wrong? Of course, you can eat as much as you want, she said as she lovingly stroked his head. Violet quickly put on a smile. Adam, you can get whatever you want to eat, and so can Amy. You guys can get whatever you want today. It seemed like they were really enjoying this time together. It was rare for Violet to be able to accompany the children, so she wanted to make them happy. After all, they were the light of her life. She was working so hard only so that she could give them the life that they deserved. The two children instantly cheered. They ran to choose the desserts they liked. Violet followed behind them with a clamp. She would buy them whatever they wanted to eat. When they finally paid the bill, Adam let the saleswoman wrap the other 3 cakes separately. Only then did she know that those cakes were bought for Logan. Violet couldn't help but feel angry then. Since when did these two start caring about Logan so much? Violet was almost jealous. How had Logan managed to occupy their minds like that? Mommy, are you not happy? Do you have no money? I have money, Amy chirpily added. Adam did not say anything. He felt it had nothing to do with money. He felt that his mother seemed to be unhappy because of Uncle Logan. His mommy didn't seem to like Uncle Logan very much, he thought in his heart. But why didn't his mother like him? He was such a sweet person. Mommy isn't unhappy. She's the happiest when she's with Adam and Amy. Violet forced a smile. Amy also likes to be with Mommy the most. Amy responded giddily. Mommy, look. This is what Adam and I chose for you. Amy took out a piece of cake. Violet felt that she was not as sensible as the children and was not as broad-minded as them either. Maybe she should reflect on herself. Could it be that she spent too little time with the children, that they became so attached to Logan? Violet felt that this was her responsibility. There were all sorts of thoughts coming into her head, and she was just trying to figure out what it was that had made them love Logan so much. It could also be that the children never had anyone who could play the role of a father. That must be why they were so enthusiastic, hoping to meet Logan again and again. Even when they had not been familiar with Logan, they could talk to him. Now they even knew what kind of cake Logan liked to eat. Violet was a little sad. Logan probably saw through this too. That was why he would make that kind of unreasonable request. She admitted that as Logan's secretary, she only knew that Logan liked eating cake. Earlier, she had felt like that was enough. Only now did she know that she was not as good as the two children. She did not know what kind of cake Logan liked. Why did Adam and Amy like Logan so much? They spent much more time with Noah than they did with Logan. Noah was also much sweeter than Logan. Then why did they seem to like Logan this much? Not long after these two kids returned to Los Angeles, their enthusiasm for Noah got shifted to Logan. Violet sympathized with Noah. He did so much for them, so he was the one who should get all of their love. Why don't you guys care about Noah as much as you care about Logan? She pointed at the tip of Amy's nose. They found a restaurant to sit down and rest. Adam and I have started to save money. We will make a cake for Noah on his birthday, Amy responded. Violet did not want to dampen the enthusiasm of the child, so she nodded happily. She secretly thought that it would be best not to let the children meet with Logan during this period of time. It would not be good for them, especially if Logan mentioned his proposal in front of them. They would get excited without understanding the implications, and that would just mean more trouble. Episode 76. The Kidnapping. Violet goes home from the hospital and cleans up. She then decides to go to school to pick the kids up. The three of them spend some time together, and the children express their love for Logan, making Violet concerned. The three of them ate and got some food packed for Haley. Whenever they went out to eat, they almost always got something for Haley. The children knew Haley's preferences inside out. When they walked out of the shopping mall, there was a gust of wind outside. Violet pulled the children across the road and went to the square opposite the road to wait for the car. She helped the children button up their jackets. She was just about to take a taxi when a black car stopped right in front of them. Two burly men got out of the car and took Adam and Amy in the car with them. Violet was stunned as she looked at the cake fall to the ground. Before she could call for help, her mouth was covered, and she was also taken into the car. Violet didn't know what to do. Her whole body trembled, and she could not even find the strength to complete a sentence. "Don't scream, or else I'll kill your two children," one of the men threatened. He was a huge man with curly hair. He threatened Violet and held her tight. Violet knew that she didn't stand a chance against him. She could only open her eyes wide and nod her head fearfully. She did not even dare to cry. Both of them were wearing sunglasses and masks, so she could not see their faces clearly. The driver in the front and the man in the front passenger seat were also dressed the same way. "Please, I beg you not to hurt my children. I will give you whatever you want," Violet murmured in a hushed tone. The fear was evident in her voice. She trembled as she uttered these words. Adam and Amy had fainted in the back seat of the car. Violet wanted to crawl over to see them, but she was stuck in the corner. She couldn't move. The black-clothed man came over to molest her. "What are you doing? We're in the car. Can't you wait?" The driver in the front seat joked. "You'd better be obedient, or else we won't be lenient," one of the men added. "Don't worry, they'll be fine for now. But if you are not obedient, I can't guarantee their safety to you." It seemed like this man had already been briefed about what he had to say. He pulled Violet's hair and patted her on the face. He let her go for the time being. "What do you want? I really don't have any money. Trust me, I'm just a secretary. You have the wrong person." Violet tried to tell them that she didn't have anything to give them. Why would they kidnap her? She did not have anything valuable on her, and nor was she someone famous. "You're pretty. You are sexy, too. We don't want anything more. We feel so lucky today. It has been a long time since we had sex with a hot woman like you." The man in black looked at Violet as if he was looking at a piece of meat. They looked horrifying. Violet was too petrified, but there was nothing that she could do. "You always think about sex first. We have to settle this matter first, and then get the money, before we do anything else," one of them added. "Even if you get the money, you won't have the chance to have sex with her. She is Logan's secretary. I heard that she even had sex with Logan before.
Today, we have a chance to have sex with Logan's woman. Imagine that.
One of them chuckled as he said this. What did this have to do with Logan? Could it be that Logan's enemies wanted to deal with Logan, so they kidnapped her? Was this because she was Logan's secretary? Why were they doing this to her? What do you want? Violet was shocked and frightened. I can accuse you of kidnapping and hold you accountable in the eyes of the law. If you want to hurt Director Logan, aren't you afraid that the Smith Group will take revenge on you? I'm sure you know how powerful Director Logan is. He won't spare you for this. Violet was trying all that she could to save herself from these people.
Oh no. We are so scared. You see, we wouldn't dare hurt Logan and kidnap you.
One of them uttered as they mocked her.
Ha! A court of law?
The driver in the front heard Violet's words and looked at the big man in the rearview mirror. They laughed so hard that their eyes started watering. It seemed like they were experienced kidnappers, which is why they weren't scared at all. Money and power were the law. Nothing else was. How naive was Violet?
No wonder Logan chooses her over celebrities. Now I know why.
The guy in the front seat said, Don't slander others. Director Logan and I are innocent. We don't have any such relationship. Violet was glad that Amy and Adam fainted at this time. Otherwise, if they heard these filthy words, they would be traumatized. Besides, Director Logan is not someone you can insult. Violet seemed very protective.
Are you protecting him?
They laughed at her.
Unfortunately, he does not care about you. He didn't even arrange bodyguards for you. It seems like he doesn't care about you enough to even give you security.
They added, There is no such relationship between us. Don't slander us. You guys have really dirty minds. Violet replied,
Cut the crap. Today, we will have sex with you. Do you think Director Logan will still like you after knowing about this?
The man in black used his finger to hook Violet's chin and approach her with a lewd smile. He wanted to do something, but the two people in front of him hurriedly stopped him.
What are you doing? Again? Don't mess around in the car. We haven't finished our work yet. Once things are settled, no one will care about what you do to her.
One of them added,
We have already captured her. She can't run now. What's the harm?
Said the guy who seemed to be very interested in Violet's body.
Don't act rashly.
The other guy tried to explain things to him.
We're not like you. You seem to have never seen a woman in your entire life.
The man in the front passenger seat looked at the driver. The driver smiled and looked at the rearview mirror. For some reason, the man in the back seat stopped messing around.
Okay, you're the boss. I'll listen to you, but we've got to deal with the two children first.
Violet's face turned pale. What do you want to do to my children?
You'll know later.
You can do whatever you want to me, but please let my two children go. I beg you. Violet pleaded in despair. No one knew her whereabouts. Her phone had been taken away. Noah and Haley were both busy, and she did not have anyone to ask for help. When she looked around, she saw that they were in a place she had no idea about. This place was somewhat desolate. She could see the landscape outside, but she had no idea where she was. Even if she ran out now, she wouldn't know where to run. When the car stopped, Violet was pulled out by the man in black. She turned around to look at the children, but was pushed forward by the man.
Don't worry, we won't separate you from them.
Violet did not dare to speak again. She was afraid of angering them, so she could only show weakness and wait for a miracle to happen. She was brought into an empty room. She could hear the echoes of someone talking. It sounded like someone was discussing something. She was pushed into a corner and made to sit on the ground. Her arms and ankles were also tied up by a hemp rope. She was blindfolded, and something was stuffed into her mouth, so she could not speak. She wanted to ask where her children had been taken, so she used her throat to make some sounds, wanting to attract the attention of those people. Violet had a rough idea about who was behind this. Clearly, the people of the Kingston family were involved. They could go to any extent imaginable. They never intended any good for her and the children. This had to be something that they had planned. Violet just hoped that the children would be safe. Episode 77. The Inhumane Kidnappers. Violet and the two children had food and were ready to go home when they get kidnapped by unknown people. They were taken to a desolate area where Violet was blindfolded. Miranda had dealt with gangsters when she was young. In the past, when Charles gambled and borrowed money from sharks who gave loans, many people would come to their house to collect his debts. Grandfather had lost hope in Charles, and so he refused to pay them. Miranda had tried to explain things to him, but he never listened. He wanted to teach Charles a lesson, so it was Miranda who helped Charles through the whole situation. Gradually, Charles listened to Miranda and did what she said.
What's your name?
Do you want to get beaten up? Someone came in and shouted. Violet felt that someone was approaching and her chin was pinched by a rough finger. She felt a lot of pain. Violet's eyes were covered, but her tears soaked the black blindfold, and her lips were red from being bitten. She also had a red mark on her chin as if someone had pinched her. Her whole body looked like it had been abused, and it made the men suck in a breath of cold air. This woman was dressed quite plainly, but there was something charming about her. Everyone was attracted to her.
No wonder.
Someone spoke. Violet could tell that this person's voice was nasty. He had stopped his subordinates from insulting her. He might not be a good person, but Violet felt that he definitely had a brain. Maybe she could negotiate with him. Maybe he would understand her situation and let her go. Violet turned in the direction of the voice and shook her head hard to make a sound, wanting to attract the attention of this person inside the room, who seemed to be their leader.
This woman is interested in you, boss,
murmured one of the guys there.
Don't talk nonsense. The most important thing right now is that we have completed the mission. We need to get our money now and leave Los Angeles as soon as possible.
The boss replied.
Do we really have to leave?
One of the guys asked.
What else can we do? We've been paid to leave Los Angeles. Do you want to stay? Will you take responsibility if something happens to us? Hey, given their family's power and influence, no one can interfere in this matter. I don't think it'll be a problem if we choose to stay either. There's no place like Los Angeles. What's the point of us having this money and no place to spend it?
The other person replied. It seemed like this guy really loved Los Angeles and wanted to stay.
Then you shouldn't have accepted this mission back then.
Another person was talking now. Violet knew that there was a total of 3 of them. She prayed in her heart that they would fight because of their different opinions. Maybe she would have a chance to escape. At this point, there was only one thing on her mind: escaping. There was nothing that she wanted more than saving her 2 children and getting out of here.
Violet started becoming restless. "This woman seems to want to speak," said one of the men. "If you are willing to stay here and listen, you can do whatever you want. Let's go to work." Another man replied. Violet was scared out of her wits when she heard that. Were they going to hurt Adam and Amy? They could not harm Violet's children. Why hadn't they just let them go? Even if Violet's hands and feet were tied, she still pounced forward fiercely at the idea of something happening to her kids. Her entire body fell to the ground. Her head held high as she whimpered in pain. Even if it was a futile effort, she still had to try to do something. Her children were in danger. Violet had not yet seen her children grow up, and she had not even taken revenge for her grandfather. Why was this happening to her? Why did the Kingston family not receive any punishment for their actions? Tears trickled down Violet's face. Very soon, her entire face was drenched through the black cloth covering her eyes. But no one paid any attention to Violet. Except for the man who wanted to have sex with her previously, no one said anything. Very soon, the sound of footsteps could be heard, and it seemed like they had left. Violet was very nervous. What should she do? What were they going to do to Adam and Amy? Could Violet really not even protect her children? What kind of test was this? Violet fell to the ground and cried until she choked. A little while after, she moved up from the ground and leaned against the corner of the wall to catch her breath. Her hands were tied up and she couldn't do anything. Her helplessness made Violet fall into despair and deeply hate herself. She was in a lot of pain. Just when she thought she would faint, she heard someone walking over. She looked up in a sorry state. Her eyes could no longer feel the sun. It seemed like the sky was already dark. Would anyone find out that they were missing? Had anyone come to save them? At this moment, she hid in the corner of the wall and shivered. It was extremely pitiful. She was so scared. "Mommy!" A little voice shrieked. It was Adam's voice. He sounded different from his usual calm self this time. Instead, his voice was filled with anger, sadness, and worry. He rushed over and hugged Violet. It felt like he was trying to protect her. "This little bastard is quite filial. Why don't we start with him?" murmured one of the men as he smoked a cigar. Violet quickly stood up and was able to put her arms around Adam to hug him. It almost hurt Adam, but Adam did not say a word. He was just glad his mother was all right. Adam wanted to protect his sister, so he pulled his sister to his side too. The family hugged tightly. Amy's face was dirty. It was evident that she had been crying a lot. Violet was just glad that her children were all right. At least they hadn't tied her hands behind her back, so she could still touch and hold them. "Mommy, why are we here?" Adam asked. "Uncle, can we go home with Mommy? We want to go home. We haven't eaten the cake we bought yet," Amy asked as she stared at the few men. She was extremely afraid, but for the sake of her mom and her brother, she tried her best to control herself. She must not let herself tremble in fear. Who were these people? Why did they bring them here? If they talked to these men, would they let them go home? Maybe they could talk to them and come up with a solution. At this time, Amy thought of Logan. Would he come and take them away with him? "Do you really want to leave?" one of them asked. Amy nodded quickly. Then one of the men said, "Then you guys can accompany your mommy properly. I will send you guys home in a while and let you guys stay together forever." "Really?" Amy was very surprised. It seemed that these people were not that bad after all. Of course. The leading man walked closer to Violet after he finished speaking.
He took off Violet's blindfold and took out the material that was stuffed in her mouth, too. He untied the rope around her hands, and only the rope on her feet was still tied. Violet let out a long breath, and only then did she come back to life. Her children were alive. She could still hold them. She had never felt this relieved in her life. She was so glad that no harm was done to them. Adam, Amy. Violet endured the pain in her arm and hugged her children tightly. She caressed their cheeks. It's all my fault, Violet said. Violet should not have challenged the Kingston family. When Violet was not strong enough, why did she offend them? She knew that she was no match for them. Violet caused the children to suffer together with her. What was wrong with her? Were their lives going to end before they even began? Mommy, don't cry. Uncle said that he will let us be with you forever. We are all okay.
These two children are so sensible. Violet, you really are lucky. Your children are such sensible kids.
The leader added as he looked at both of them. I know, but I still want this blessing to last a little longer. Why don't we talk about it? Violet lifted her head and looked at the men. This time, she was calm. She just wanted to speak to them. Episode 78. Scaring the Kidnappers. The kidnappers took Violet and the kids to a desolate area. All of them were too scared, and Violet was worried that they would harm the children. However, it seemed like they weren't that bad after all, as they removed the fold on Violet's eyes and let the children meet her too. Violet suddenly spoke very calmly. For a moment, she actually made people feel that perhaps they could come to terms and talk this out. But what could Violet actually do? What did she have to offer or threaten them with? Other than an ambiguous relationship with the business tycoon of Los Angeles, Logan, she had nothing else to lean back on. Even though Noah and Haley were very powerful in their respective fields, they could not compare with these people. These people were filthy criminals who could do anything that they wanted. I am the Smith Group's director's secretary. I'm pretty sure you already know who I am, since you must have done your background check before kidnapping me. She added as if she was boasting.
Aren't you Logan's secretary?
One of them asked with a surprised expression on his face. They had been told that Violet was a slut who liked to hook up with men. Many people knew her as someone who hurt other people's feelings. They were doing this so that they could get a huge sum of money in return, using which they could then live peacefully for the rest of their lives. You may have misunderstood me, but the person who asked you to do this clearly didn't consider your safety. Or rather, after you complete your mission, you might be killed by someone. I'm sure you are aware of the danger awaiting you now. Violet suppressed the fear in her body and tried to make herself sound as calm as possible. The calmer she looked, the more trustworthy her words were. Besides, they also know I am Director Logan's secretary, so they let you kidnap me. Don't tell me you think that Director Logan can't find out who did it. She continued. It looked like Violet was trying to scare them now.
Don't worry, we have things in our control, and we know how to get out of this.
One of them responded. Their way out was to push all the blame onto someone else on their team. In fact, Violet's guess coincided with their original plan. Some of the kidnappers had boasted that they knew martial arts. They had not done anything wrong in the past few years. They did not think that their own team members would dare to scheme against them like this. When they heard what Violet has to say, the leader of the group had a very strange expression on his face.
Hey man, don't listen to her nonsense. She wants to scare us. If Logan really cared about her, do you think he would let her work as hard as she does to provide for her children? He would have sent the chauffeur and bodyguards to follow her earlier. I think she's just scaring us.
The man who wanted to insult Violet earlier was already a little impatient. He wanted to molest Violet in front of Adam and Amy. Violet was at a loss of words. She did not know what to do and desperately avoided him. She tried her best to hold Adam and Amy in her arms, not letting them see this.
Since we have already come to this point, there's no reason for us to stop now. We will take the money and leave.
One of them added. Violet knew what that meant. Although Violet was naive, she did not think that these people brought her here for nothing. They would not let her go. For the sake of the children, she had to do something to escape from the situation.
What do you mean by what you said just now?
The bearded man asked coldly. Smart people should understand, right? Violet saw that this man was still a little young, but his eyes also revealed how shrewd he was. He could not be easily deceived at first glance. The other two people were clearly following his lead. Violet tried to reason with him and asked him to let her and the children leave. Meanwhile, Logan's eyelids kept twitching the entire afternoon, but he had rested well these few days. It was impossible for him to be tired after this much rest. Corey was also handling the matters of the company well, and things seemed to be very much in control. Despite that, he had an indescribable feeling in his heart. He kept feeling restless and depressed. While the servants were cleaning his room, he went downstairs to take a walk in the courtroom behind him. It was then that he got a call from Noah. Noah and Garrett had met earlier to discuss some matters. He wanted to pass some legal matters of their company to Noah's company. After all, Logan was an investor. He and Garrett did not have a good relationship, and Noah had to ask him for his opinion.
It's fine as long as you make a decision. Anyway, I will not interfere with the law firm's business. I will be in charge of the dividends.
Logan was not in the mood to converse with Garrett at all. His attention was not on work, and he did not want to give Noah any advice. He just didn't feel like it.
But I want to thank you for giving Violet a day off to rest and spend time with her children,
Noah said with a smile in his voice. But Logan was not happy. Instead, he curled his lips. He said that he did not need to thank him for giving his employees a day off.
Why are you like this? Also, Violet will definitely not reconcile with the Kingston family in the future. Will your relationship with Elizabeth be affected because of that?
Noah asked inquisitively.
Why does any of that have anything to do with Violet?
Logan lazily walked around and kicked the small stones on the grass by the roadside.
The people of the Kingston family are not very nice, especially Chloe. I saw her with a few men in the city center today. Those men looked like gangsters.
Noah sounded quite concerned at this point in time.
Gangsters?
Logan seemed quite concerned about what he said, too.
Yes, you don't know who the Kingston family has been in contact with these years, right?
Noah asked. Logan knew a little about it, but ever since he realized he had no interest in Elizabeth, he no longer cared about the Kingston family. In any case, he was only in charge of giving the Kingston family money, resources, and several different projects. That night, 4 years ago, it was indeed he and Elizabeth who had sex. That was what he had been told, and hence he believed it. He was a man of his word, and he believed it was his responsibility to make sure that he lived up to his commitments.
You said Violet went to pick up the children today.
Logan asked.
Yeah, it's rare for her to be free. She insisted on picking up the children herself. I was afraid that she would get lost, but if she took a taxi, it should be fine.
Noah continued. Logan immediately became alert. He had not settled accounts with Chloe about what happened at the photography base last time. He thought that what she had done was flawless. What was she planning to do now? He also remembered that Adam and Amy's school was in the business circle in the city center. That woman had targeted Adam and Amy last time, and this time was no exception. Although Elizabeth was not that likable, she was kind and did not do anything that would hurt someone else. But Chloe could be evil in her own ways, and most people knew that. Before Noah could react, Logan hung up. He seemed to understand why he had been restless all afternoon. He opened his phone with a little bit of hope in his heart. Ever since Violet entered Adam and Amy's phone numbers into his phone, he asked Corey to find the company's security guards to track them. After all, it was about the children he saved. He was really worried for them. Whenever he had time, he checked on them to see how they were doing and if they were staying where they should be. Violet's phone showed no signal. He couldn't see where the children were at all. He called Violet, but there was no answer. Logan found it strange. As long as she was in the city center of Los Angeles, it was impossible for there to be no signal. He was beginning to get worried for them. Something just didn't seem right. What was happening? Were they in any sort of trouble? Episode 79. Finding Violet and the Children. Violet tried to scare the kidnappers, telling them that they will have to pay for their actions. Meanwhile, Logan felt restless and had a feeling that there was something wrong after he spoke with Noah. He tried to track Violet and the children down, but his efforts were in vain. Logan called Violet again. He didn't care if there was a legitimate reason or not. He just wanted to quickly contact them. However, the call couldn't get through. There seemed to be no service. Logan returned to his room and smashed his phone onto the sofa. He thought about it and was still unwilling to give up. He turned on the GPS on his phone again. He looked for the records. The contents of his phone had showed that they had gone to a shopping mall near the children's school more than an hour ago. Logan immediately called Corey and rushed over to the shopping center. He found the security company and pulled up all the relevant surveillance cameras. Meanwhile, Violet was trying to do all that she could to come to common ground with the kidnappers. Violet used everything she could to negotiate with them, but it was obvious that these people only wanted money. That was what she didn't have. "You really think we're going to let you go in exchange for such a meager amount?" one of them asked, mocking her. "Mommy, don't be afraid. Uncle will definitely let us go, right?" Amy kept staring at the middle-aged man in the lead. The man had a beard and looked fierce, but his eyes, unexpectedly, had a bit of sympathy. "You can't blame us. You've offended someone you can't afford to offend," he said. "Why should I accept my fate?" Violet suppressed her fear and gritted her teeth. Although her whole body was trembling, she still raised her head. She acted very strong. She had to, for her children. "Do you accept your fate? Your hands are already bloodstained. Aren't you afraid of losing your life too?" the leader of the gang asked. "Even if you have made mistakes in the past, you still have a chance to turn back. However, if you attack me and my children today, then you will never have a chance to turn back. You don't know what will happen to you. Trust me on that." Violet seemed fierce this time. She seemed determined to tell them that they would have to face the wrath of everyone who cared about her if they did anything to harm her or the children. "What did you say? How dare you say something like that to us?" The leader of the gang squatted down and slapped Violet. Blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. "Do you think you have a very high status just because you're Logan's secretary? Do you really think he can come and save you? How dare you challenge us?"
Let me tell you, all men are bastards. No one can do anything to us. But imagine what we could do to you right now. He had a very serious tone, and it almost seemed like he was going to harm Violet. All right, sure, I don't have that kind of relationship with Director Logan. But I believe that if you hurt my children or me, the Smith Group won't spare you. They always protect their employees. Violet replied. The leader was clearly not convinced. He could not bear to see Violet still being so stubborn, despite being in such a predicament. He wanted to hit her again. Mommy! Adam shouted and blocked Violet. The man slapped Adam's head. He grunted but did not dodge. He protected Violet and Amy. He felt like it was his duty to protect his mother and his sister. Get out of the way. If you don't get out of the way, I'll kill you.
The guy said, Don't touch my brother. You're all bad people. You're lying. You said you would let us go. Amy cried loudly in Violet's arms. Mommy, Adam, does it hurt? Amy asked. It's fine, Amy. I don't feel pain. Violet told her, Amy, you have to be brave. Don't be afraid. Someone will definitely come and save us. She continued. Violet herself did not believe these words. Hey, boss, let's do something about it. It'll be inconvenient for us to do this when the sun rises. You two drag these two children away. Meanwhile, give the woman to me, just as you promised, said one of them slyly. All right, leave the two children to us. I'll leave this woman to you. We'll finish early, take the money, and leave. Another one of them responded. The leader didn't say anything, nor did he stop the other two from working together. He seemed to be thinking about something. He stared at Violet, then looked at Adam, who was hugging Violet and refusing to let go. The child had been slapped. He was very young and could not bear that slap. His beautiful mother held him in her arms. Although her body was dirty and covered in blood, her eyes were full of tears, and she was very sad and unwilling to part from her kids. The shabby warehouse was filled with sobbing sounds. Although Violet was praying for a miracle, she felt that they would probably die here. Maybe she really shouldn't have come back. Not only did she not take revenge on her grandfather, but she also put the lives of these two innocent children in danger. Miranda was right. She was indeed the one who brought misfortune. Just as the gangsters were preparing to kill Violet, Adam, and Amy in this abandoned warehouse, the sounds of wheels rubbing against the ground came from outside. The sound was very loud. Violet was startled and did not dare to raise her head. She only cared about grabbing Adam and Amy's sleeves tightly. She was determined to not let these people take them away. She did not dare to make any sound. She was afraid of angering the gangster and making them attack her children. Adam also heard the sound. He and Violet looked at each other and did not dare to make a sound. He only pulled his sister's hand tightly. His small body trembled. He was a little hopeful earlier, but not anymore. When the three gangsters also heard the sounds of the wheels, they left Violet, Adam, and Amy behind. They went to the window next to them and looked outside. Under the dim moonlight, they saw several cars coming. Dozens of people got out of the cars before they even stopped. They were all wearing black suits. All of them looked very handsome, and it seemed they knew how to fight. They surrounded one person who appeared to be in charge and instantly began walking. Who is that person? The person who had hit Violet previously panicked. The expression on his face said it all. It seemed like he was indeed petrified. I don't know. Anyway, they're definitely not our people. Let's hurry and pack up. Quick, we don't have time. The panic was evident in the leader's tone. As soon as the leader ordered, that person came to pull Violet. He held Violet's wrist and was about to carry her on his shoulder. "Mommy!" Adam did not let them go. He held the man's leg. Amy also wanted to protect her brother and mother. She tried to help, but wasn't able to. Instead, she fell to the ground, and her wrist and cheek were all scratched on the cement floor. Violet saw the two children being bullied like this and was instantly angered. She opened her mouth and bit the back of the person's neck, not letting go. There was blood everywhere.
"You want to die?"
The man threw Violet onto the ground and was about to step on her. The leader stopped him. Otherwise, Violet would have been hurt very badly.
"Hurry up and walk. We are already too late,"
the leader added. But the man, who was too interested in Violet's body, didn't want to leave like that.
"We have to take her,"
he said.
"Why do you care about her? If you don't leave now, you'll lose your life."
The leader was trying to explain to him what was more important at this point. The situation was urgent. Since his boss had said so, there was no room for negotiation. The man could only hold on to his neck for a second. He wanted to teach Violet a lesson and take revenge for being bitten. However, the voices of the men outside were getting louder, which meant they were inching closer. The other two people were not as stupid as him. They quickly dragged him out of the back door. Episode 80. The Rescue. Logan tried to contact Violet and the children. When he wasn't able to connect with them, he realized that something fishy was going on and got worried. Meanwhile, Violet was tortured by the kidnappers. A bunch of people arrived, and the kidnappers tried to make their escape.
"If you don't leave, we'll leave you here alone. Don't blame us for being heartless,"
one of them whispered. After Violet heard these words, the three of them immediately disappeared. Their things were probably in the car. The kidnappers got inside, and Violet heard the sound of the engine start. They stepped on the throttle to maximum and left with a loud boom. Violet's entire body was covered in sweat. After being thrown to the ground ruthlessly, her entire body was hurting. Her lips were covered in blood, too, and she shouted Adam and Amy's names. The only thing on her mind at this point was to make sure that her children were all right. "Hey, Mom, we are okay now." Someone spoke. It sounded like Adam. Then someone walked into the light. Violet did not see clearly who it was as she had already fainted. "Mommy, the bad guys have left. Wake up. We can go home now." Amy looked at her mom and Adam and started crying. They had never seen their mother like this. Soon, someone rushed in. Amy heard the sound and turned around to look. The person in the lead was getting closer and closer. It looked like an angel to Amy. An angel that was just there to save the three of them. "Uncle Logan!" Amy shrieked in excitement. She tilted her head and fell onto Adam in her happiness. Both Adam and Amy were so happy to see him. "Take them to the hospital," Logan ordered with a solemn expression. When he saw Adam and Amy, he almost could not control himself. If those kidnappers were still there, Logan would have surely killed all of them. They were smart. They only cared about their own escape and did not dare to take Violet and the two children away. But before they left, they actually beat up the three of them like this. Logan's blood was boiling, seeing all of them like that. Logan would surely find out who was behind all of this. Violet and the kids were rushed to the hospital. Logan had already told his team which doctor they should be taken to. The news of Violet being kidnapped and rescued by Logan spread like wildfire. This time, almost everyone in Los Angeles was talking about it. Previously, some people thought that their relationship might not be true. Now, everyone believed it. Otherwise, why would Logan care so much? Why would he make an effort to save all of them like that? Last time when Elizabeth was filming, she was so exhausted and nearly ended up in a hospital. I didn't see Logan care so much about it. It was as if he didn't notice at all what happened. What did Elizabeth do to not have his attention at all? Read one of the comments online. He has a new lover now and has forgotten about his old love. Another replied. Elizabeth gritted her teeth, but there was nothing she could do. Miranda urged her to go to the hospital just to have the chance to meet Logan. Logan's grandmother, on the other hand, was not happy at all. She was a bit annoyed with Violet because ever since Violet had entered the Smith group, her grandson was always in some kind of trouble. First, he was injured because of her 2 children. Now, he didn't care about himself and rushed into danger to save her. He would rather have his wound torn open than assign the task to someone else. When he saved them, it only got more people talking about the relationship that the 2 of them had. The children are actually very nice, but Violet is becoming a problem. Logan's grandmother said to herself as she also rushed to the hospital. When she saw that her grandson's wound had been bandaged again, she was extremely angry. Her expression said it all. "You're just disobedient. I told you that you're the Alexander family's only hope. Don't put yourself in danger. Have you forgotten what I said?" She asked. "Grandma, it was an emergency. These 3 could have been dead." Logan responded with a serious expression on his face. "How are you so sure that they were really in danger? Maybe she dug a pit for you to jump into, and you believed her." Logan's grandmother cursed. No one knew better than her what these women were capable of. Corey has investigated. They all have criminal records. They are not good people, Logan clarified. That doesn't prove anything. She could have just hired them. Logan's grandmother brushed off the explanation. "Grandma, do you think she'll use her own children as a bargaining chip?" Logan asked. "We don't know what she's capable of," Grandma argued. "Grandma." Logan could not guarantee anything else. However, Violet was never careless about her children. He knew Violet was innocent. Although she did not take very good care of the children, she definitely loved them deeply. She protects her children. She was knocked unconscious and her entire body was covered in wounds. "Grandma, I'm doing this for my own good only. I'm doing this for the sake of the company. I'm saving someone's life." Logan wanted to say more, but his grandmother had already waved her hand to stop him. "Let's forget about it this time. If this happens again, it won't be a coincidence. I won't stand idly by either," she added. She decided to go back and let Alex arrange people to keep an eye on Violet and the people around her. She would find out if this was Violet's plan or something genuine very soon. There won't be a next time. Logan could not help but laugh. He would not allow such a thing to happen. Even if Violet did not agree, it was useless. The person he saved was under his control. Logan's grandmother did not know what he was thinking in his heart. She also did not want to argue with him over Violet. She leaned against the bed and looked at Adam's sleeping face for a while. She sighed and said that Adam was a good child. She asked Logan to bring him home sometime so they could spend some quality time together. "Sure. When they recover, I'll bring them home." Logan acquiesced. Satisfied with his answer, Grandma let Logan rest. She said that she would go to the company. She wanted to check what was happening and how things were happening at the company. "Thank you for your hard work, Grandma," Logan responded. He didn't stop her. Grandma's painstaking efforts were all for him. Once he recovered, he would have to work harder and strive to make the Smith Group rise to a higher level. Grandmother has already told him that he must do everything he can for the Smith Group. He was the only hope that the company had, and he needed to live up to her expectations. Grandmother and Alex walked along the hospital corridor, chatting. If Violet and Logan did not have that kind of relationship, then how did Logan know she was in trouble? Even her friends did not know that she had been kidnapped. It was Logan who had guessed that she was in danger. He did not even hesitate, nor did he call the police. He brought his own men to rescue her. Before he found out about all of this, he had sensed that something was wrong. He was just uneasy. Something in his head told him to be alert. Those people knew what was good for them and ran away. If they had stayed and fought with Logan, it would have surely been a real fight. If Logan was hurt, his grandmother would have given everyone a very tough time. The source of everything was Violet. If not for her, these things would not have happened at all. Logan's grandmother's impression of Violet fell drastically. She hadn't liked her much before, either. When she recovers, it's better to make her leave as soon as possible so there won't be any more trouble, Grandmother instructed Alex. She planned to tell Corey to start recruiting a new secretary and let Violet go after a period of time. She thought that this was the best thing to do at the moment, since Violet was not of any particular use. She only made things harder for Logan. If she stuck around, Logan would be in even more danger. Grandma could tolerate a lot of things, but she could not stand seeing Logan get hurt. If anything harmed him, she made sure to take care of it. She would take care of this problem too.